The train station was empty at midnight. Cold wind moved across the platform and a single yellow light flickered above the wooden bench. Mr. Harrison sat alone with his expensive suit and his tired eyes. He was a billionaire who owned companies and private jets, but tonight his car had broken down and his phone had no signal. He had no choice but to wait for a local train like a normal person. He looked at his watch. 11:58 p.m. 2 more minutes and he would be gone. Then he heard footsteps. Fast footsteps, small footsteps, running footsteps. A black girl came out of the darkness. She looked 12 years old, her clothes were old and dirty, her face was scared, very scared. She stopped in front of Harrison and her eyes were wide and she was breathing fast like she had run for miles. Then she shouted, "Don't get on that train, sir, please don't get on that train." Harrison looked at her and smiled a little. He thought she wanted money. "Go away," he said. "I don't have money for you." The girl grabbed his arm. Her small fingers were shaking like leaves in the wind. "You don't understand," she said. "If you get on that train, you will die." Harrison pulled his arm back. He was annoyed now. He was a busy man with important meetings. "Listen, child," he said. "I'm a very busy man. I don't have time for games." The girl started crying, not loud crying, just tears falling down her cheeks one after another. "I'm not lying," she whispered. "Please. Just wait for the next train, please, sir." Harrison stood up. He was tall and she was small. The girl stepped back, but she did not run. "Go away," he said again. His voice was cold now like the winter wind. The girl did not move. She just looked at him with strange eyes. Her eyes were too old for a child's face. Then they both heard it, a sound in the distance, the sound of a train horn. Woo, woo, the train was coming. "No," the girl said softly. "No, no, no." Harrison picked up his leather bag and walked to the edge of the platform. The train's light was getting closer and closer. The girl ran in front of him and spread her arms like she was stopping traffic. "Please," she screamed. "I see things, sir. I see when people die. I saw your face. I saw the number on your head. 24 hours. You have 24 hours. Please believe me." Harrison stopped. For 1 second something in her voice felt real. Something in her eyes made his heart beat faster. But then the train arrived. The doors opened with a hiss of air. Inside, the lights were bright and warm. Passengers were sitting and reading. A normal train, a normal night. Harrison stepped inside. The girl fell to her knees on the platform. She covered her face with her dirty hands. "No," she cried. "Not again, not again." The doors closed with a soft thud. The train started moving. Harrison looked out the window. The girl was still on her knees, but now she was looking at him. Her face had changed. She was not crying anymore. She was pointing inside the train, pointing behind Harrison, and her lips moved slowly. She said 3 words. Harrison could not hear her through the glass, but he read her lips perfectly. "Behind you, run." Harrison turned around very slowly. His heart was pounding. The train coach was completely empty. No passengers, no bags, no drinks on the tables, no lights inside the cabins, just him, alone. Then he heard a whisper, soft, close to his ear. Someone was breathing right behind him. "You should have listened to the child." Harrison's heart stopped. He looked at the window again. The platform was gone. The girl was gone. Outside there was only darkness and more darkness. Then on the glass of the window fog was forming. Someone was breathing on it from the other side, but there was no one there. A voice came from the train speaker. Low, strange, cold. "Next stop, eternity." Harrison tried to open the door. It was locked. He tried to call for help. No signal. He tried to scream. No sound came out. He looked at his watch. 12:00 a.m. exactly. The train moved faster into the darkness. And somewhere far behind on the empty platform, the little black girl named Zara was still running, still screaming, still crying, but no one could hear her now. Harrison stood frozen in the middle of the empty train coach. His hands were shaking, his breath was fast. He had just heard a whisper inside an empty room. "You should have listened to the child." Those words were still echoing in his ears, but there was no one behind him, no one in front of him, no one anywhere. He turned in a full circle and saw nothing but empty seats and dark windows. The train moved smoothly through the night, too smoothly. There was no sound of wheels on the track, no vibration. No engine noise. It felt like the train was floating. Harrison walked to the nearest seat and touched it. The fabric was old and dusty. He looked at another seat, same dust, same old fabric. Then he looked at the floor, no footprints except his own. No one had sat here for years, but he just saw passengers boarding. He just saw people sitting and reading. His mind was screaming, "This is not real. This cannot be real." He walked to the next coach. The door slid open silently. Empty. He walked to the next coach. Empty. He walked 5 more coaches, all empty, dust everywhere, silence everywhere. Then he heard footsteps behind him, slow, heavy, coming closer. Harrison did not turn around. He could not. His body was frozen with fear. The footsteps stopped right behind his back. A cold breath touched his neck. A voice spoke, deep, old, not human. "You see now, there was never anyone here. Only you, only me." Harrison closed his eyes and prayed. He had not prayed in 20 years, but he prayed now. Then the voice laughed, a dry laugh like bones cracking. "Prayers do not work here, billionaire. This train has only one rule: once you board, you never leave." Harrison opened his eyes and ran. He ran as fast as his expensive shoes could carry him. He ran through empty coach after empty coach. His lungs burned. His legs ached. He did not look back. He did not stop. Then he reached the front of the train, a door with a sign, "Driver's Cabin." He pushed the door, locked. He pushed again, locked. He punched the door with his fist, nothing. Then he heard a small voice behind him, a voice he recognized. "Mr. Harrison, stop, please stop." He turned around. The black girl was standing there. Zara, the same girl from the platform, but how? He saw her kneeling on the platform. He saw the train leave her behind. "How did you get here?" Harrison asked. His voice was broken. Zara walked closer. Her eyes were not scared now. They were sad. Very sad. "I ran after the train," she said. "I always run after the train, but I never catch it in time. Tonight I did." Harrison did not understand. "What are you talking about?" Zara sat down on a dusty seat and looked at her hands. "I was born in a lab," she said quietly. "Scientists made me. They wanted children who could see death. I'm number 7. There were 20 of us. Only I am alive." Harrison sat down across from her. His legs could not stand anymore. "You see death?" he asked. Zara nodded. "I see numbers on people's foreheads, the number of hours they have left to live. Your number is 24. I saw it at the station." Harrison touched his own forehead. He felt nothing. "But why did you stop me? Why did you scream?" Zara looked up. Her eyes were wet. "Because I saved someone before, a woman. I told her not to get on a bus. She listened. She lived. But then the scientists found me. They said if I save someone, that person must die within 24 hours anyway. It is their punishment, their rule." Harrison felt his blood turn cold. "So I will die anyway?" Zara nodded and pointed at his forehead. "Your number just changed. It was 24. Now it is 23 hours and 47 minutes. The train is taking us to the lab. They want you back. They want me back." Then the train speaker crackled. A voice came through, cold, familiar. "Subject 7. You brought company, good girl." Zara grabbed Harrison's hand. Her small fingers were ice cold. "Mr. Harrison," she whispered, "when the train stops, do not trust anyone, not even me." The train began to slow down. Outside the window, a building appeared, dark, tall, surrounded by fences and guards. The lab. Zara started crying silently, and Harrison knew this was not just a train ride. This was a trap, and he had walked right into it. The train stopped with a soft hiss. Harrison looked out the window and saw a dark building with no lights. Tall fences surrounded it. Guards walked slowly with flashlights. Somewhere inside that building was the lab where Zara was born, where 20 children were turned into experiments, where 19 of them died. Zara was still holding his hand. Her small fingers were shaking. "Mr. Harrison," she whispered, "listen to me very carefully. When the door opens, do not run. Do not shout. Just stay close to me." Harrison looked at her dirty face and her sad eyes. "Why should I trust you?" he asked. "You brought me here. You knew the train was going to the lab." Zara's face changed. For the first time she looked angry. "I did not bring you here. You got on the train yourself. I screamed, I begged, I cried. You pushed me away." Harrison felt shame in his chest. She was right. She warned him. She grabbed his arm. She cried on her knees, and he ignored her. "I am sorry," he said quietly. Zara shook her head. "Sorry does not matter now. What matters is that you are still alive, and as long as you are alive, I will try to save you." The train doors opened. Cold air rushed inside. The platform outside was dark and wet. 2 guards stood waiting. Their faces had no expression. Their eyes had no life. "Subject 7, one guard said. "You are late." Zara stepped off the train. Harrison followed close behind. The guards did not touch them. They just walked in front and behind. A cage of silent men. They entered the building through a steel door. The hallway was white and clean, nothing like the dark outside, bright lights on the ceiling, floors so clean Harrison could see his own reflection. Then he saw something else. On the walls were photos, 20 photos of children. Each photo had a number, number 1, number 2, number 3, all the way to 20. Every photo had a red X except one, number 7, Zara. Harrison stopped walking. "What happened to the others?" he asked. The guards did not answer. Zara kept walking, but her voice was soft. "They died one by one. The scientists pushed us too hard. They wanted us to see death from far away, from across the city, from across the world. The other children's minds broke. Only my mind stayed strong." Harrison felt sick. "You were just a child, a baby." Zara turned and looked at him. "I was born in this lab. I never saw the sun until I escaped last year. I never tasted real food. I never had a toy. I am not normal, Mr. Harrison, I know that, but I am also not a monster. The scientists are the monsters." They reached a large metal door. The guards stepped back. One guard pressed a button. The door opened with a loud clang. Inside was a room full of machines, screens on every wall, wires hanging from the ceiling. And in the middle of the room sat an old man in a white coat. He had no hair, no eyebrows. His skin was gray like ash. He smiled when he saw Zara. "Subject 7, the old man said. "Welcome home, you brought fresh blood." Zara stepped in front of Harrison. "Leave him alone, Dr. Voss, he did nothing wrong." Dr. Voss laughed. It was a dry sound, no happiness in it. "He did everything wrong. He got on the train, he broke the rule, now he pays the price." Harrison spoke up. "What rule? I did not sign anything. I did not agree to anything." Dr. Voss stood up slowly. He was very tall and very thin. "The rule is simple," he said. "Anyone who sees a death number must die within 24 hours. That is the cost of knowing. That is the price of being saved by Subject 7. Zara started shaking. "No, that was your rule, not God's rule, not nature's rule, your evil rule." Dr. Voss walked closer. His gray skin looked worse up close. "Call it what you want, but the truth is simple. You saved him, now he must die unless—" He stopped and smiled. "Unless what?" Harrison asked. Dr. Voss pointed at Zara. "Unless someone else takes his place, another death, another soul, another sacrifice." Zara's eyes went wide. "No," she whispered. "Not that, never that." Harrison looked at her. "What is he talking about?" But before Zara could answer, alarms started blaring. Red lights flashed. A voice came on the speaker. "Containment breach. Subject 7 has entered the building. Lockdown in progress." Dr. Voss looked at the ceiling and laughed. "Too late, little one, you came back. And now you will never leave again." Zara grabbed Harrison's hand and pulled him toward a small door on the side. "Run now. Ask questions later." They ran. And behind them, Dr. Voss's laughter followed like a ghost. Harrison ran behind Zara through a narrow hallway. Red lights flashed above them. Alarms screamed from every direction. His lungs burned and his legs ached, but he did not stop. Zara knew every corner, every door, every secret of this lab. She pulled him left, then right, then through a small door that led to a staircase. "Where are we going?" Harrison asked between heavy breaths. "To the roof," Zara said. "There is an old exit there. The guards forget about it." They climbed 3 flights of stairs. Harrison's expensive shoes slipped on the metal steps. Then they reached a door with a rusty handle. Zara pushed it. The door opened with a loud creak. Cold night air hit their faces. They were on the roof. Above them the sky was black with no stars. Below them the lab spread out like a sleeping monster. Zara ran to the edge and looked down. "There," she said, pointing at a far wall. "If we jump to that lower roof, we can reach the street." Harrison looked down. The drop was high, too high. "I am 60 years old," he said. "I cannot jump that." Zara turned to him. Her face was hard. "Then you die here in this lab on that table with Dr. Voss watching." Harrison took a deep breath. She was right again. He had no choice. Then they heard footsteps behind them, slow footsteps, heavy footsteps coming up the stairs. Harrison turned around. The door to the roof was still open, but no one was there, only darkness. Then a shape moved inside the darkness. A tall man stepped out. He wore a black uniform, no lights, no badges, no face. His face was covered in shadow, but his eyes were bright white like 2 small stars burning in the night. Zara grabbed Harrison's arm so hard it hurt. "Do not look into his eyes," she whispered. Her voice was shaking. "Who is he?" Harrison asked. He could not look away from those white eyes. "The soul collector," Zara said. "Dr. Voss made him. He is not alive. He is not dead. He collects people who break the rule. He was in the train with you. He was the whisper behind your back." The man in black took one step forward, then another. He did not walk like a normal man, he glided. His feet did not make sound, but his shadow moved across the roof like water. "Subject 7, the soul collector said. His voice was deep and hollow, like a voice coming from the bottom of a well. "You brought an unmarked soul. You know the punishment." Zara stepped in front of Harrison. He did not ask to see the number. "I showed him. The punishment is mine, not his." The soul collector tilted his head. "The rules do not care who showed. He saw. He must pay." Harrison felt something strange. His chest was getting cold. He looked down at his hands. They were turning pale, white, like the color was leaving his body. "What is happening to me?" he asked. Zara looked at his forehead. Her eyes went wide. "Your number is dropping fast. 23 hours, 22 hours, 21 hours. He is taking your time. He is stealing your life." The soul collector raised one hand. His fingers were long and white. "Give me 1 hour of your life every second until nothing remains." Harrison fell to his knees. His heart was slowing down. His breath was getting shallow. He felt old, older than ever before. Then Zara reached into her pocket. She pulled out a small metal device, no bigger than a coin. She pressed a button on it. A loud screech filled the air, like a million nails on a million chalkboards. The soul collector screamed. His white eyes flickered. His body shook. He stepped back toward the door. "Frequency jammer," Zara shouted. "It freezes you for 10 seconds. 10 seconds is all I need." She grabbed Harrison's arm and pulled him up. "Run now." They ran across the roof. The soul collector was frozen in place, his body twitching, his eyes blinking fast. Zara reached the edge of the roof first. She jumped. She landed on the lower roof and rolled. Harrison looked down. His legs were weak. His heart was slow. He looked back. The soul collector was moving again. His white eyes were fixed on Harrison. "Jump!" Zara screamed. Harrison closed his eyes and jumped. He landed hard. Pain shot through his ankle, but he was alive. Zara pulled him up. "Keep moving. He cannot follow us to the street." They climbed down a fire escape. They reached the ground. They ran through a broken fence. Then they were on a normal street, streetlights, cars, a man walking his dog, normal world. Harrison fell to the ground. He was breathing but barely. "Where is he?" Harrison asked. Zara looked back at the lab. The soul collector was standing on the roof edge, watching, waiting, his white eyes shining in the dark. "He cannot leave the lab," Zara said, "but he does not need to because the train is still coming and you are still on it." Harrison looked at her confused. "What do you mean we escaped?" Zara pointed at his wrist. His watch was still ticking. But the numbers on the digital screen were wrong. It showed 11:59 p.m., the same time as when he boarded the train. "We never left the train, Mr. Harrison," Zara whispered. "This is all still inside it, the lab, the roof, the street, everything. The train is not taking you somewhere. The train is everywhere." Harrison's blood turned cold, and somewhere behind them the soul collector laughed. Harrison sat on the cold ground of a normal street that was not actually a normal street. Cars passed by. A man walked his dog. Streetlights glowed overhead, but none of it was real. Zara knelt beside him with her small hands on his shoulders. Her face was pale and tired. "You need to understand something, Mr. Harrison," she said quietly. "The train is not a machine. It is a prison made by Dr. Voss. It exists between life and death, between real and not real." Harrison looked at his watch. Still 11:59 p.m. Time had stopped moving forward, but he could feel himself getting older. His bones ached. His breath was heavy. "How do we get out?" he asked. Zara stood up and looked at the lab building in the distance. The soul collector was still standing on the roof like a dark statue. "There is only one way," she said. "We go back inside. We find the main computer room. We delete the original program that created the train." Harrison laughed, but there was no happiness in it. "Go back inside. We just ran for our lives. We jumped off a roof. We barely escaped." Zara turned to face him. Her eyes were not angry. They were sad and strong at the same time. "I was born in that lab. 19 children died in that lab. I know every room, every door, every secret. If anyone can do this, it is me, but I cannot do it alone." Harrison looked at this small girl, 12 years old, dirty clothes, no parents, no home. And yet she was braver than anyone he had ever met. He was a billionaire with power and money, but right now he had nothing except her. "Okay," he said, "tell me what to do." Zara pointed at a small door on the side of the lab building. "That door leads to the old air vents. The guards do not watch it because it is too small for adults, but you are not too big, and I am very small. We can crawl through." They walked quickly to the door. Zara pulled out a small metal tool from her pocket and picked the lock in seconds. The door opened with a soft click. Inside was darkness and the smell of old dust. Zara went first. Harrison followed on his hands and knees. The vent was narrow and cold. Every few feet they passed a small fan that was not moving. The air was dead, silent. After 10 minutes of crawling, they reached a grate. Zara pushed it open and dropped down into a dark room. Harrison dropped down after her and landed on a cold floor. Then the lights turned on. They were in a room filled with computers. Screens covered every wall. Wires hung from the ceiling like black snakes. In the middle of the room was a large glass tube. Inside the tube was a bed, and on the bed was a small figure, a child, a girl who looked exactly like Zara, same face, same hair, same small hands, but her eyes were closed. Her chest was not moving. Harrison stepped closer. "Who is this?" he asked. His voice was barely a whisper. Zara walked to the glass tube and placed her palm on the cold surface. "This is me," she said, "the real me, the one who never woke up." Harrison felt his stomach drop. "What are you saying?" Zara turned to him. Tears were falling down her cheeks, but her voice was steady. "Dr. Voss did not just teach us to see death. He tried to copy our minds. He wanted to make digital souls that could live forever. He used me for the experiment. He took my mind and put a copy of it inside the train. The real me is still sleeping in that tube. She has been sleeping for 2 years." Harrison looked at the sleeping girl. Then he looked at the girl standing in front of him. "So you are not real?" Zara shook her head. "I am real, but I am not human. I am a copy, a ghost, a digital soul. I can see death numbers because I am made of the same energy as death. That is why the soul collector cannot touch me. That is why I can run faster and see things others cannot see." A screen on the wall flickered. Dr. Voss's face appeared, his gray skin and his dark smile. "Subject 7, he said. "You finally told him the truth. Good. Now he can watch while I delete you forever." Zara grabbed Harrison's hand. "The main computer is behind that wall. You have to delete everything, every file, every program, every copy, including me." Harrison looked at her. "If I delete the files, you disappear." Zara smiled. It was the first real smile he had seen on her face. "I was never supposed to exist, Mr. Harrison, but you are, so please save yourself. Save the real me. Let the copy die." Alarms started blaring again. The soul collector's white eyes appeared in the darkness outside the room. Harrison had seconds to decide, and his hands were already moving toward the keyboard. Harrison's fingers hovered over the keyboard. His heart was pounding in his chest. One button press and everything would end. The train, the lab, the soul collector, and Zara, the little girl who saved his life, the little girl who was never supposed to exist. Zara stood beside him with her hands at her sides. She was not crying anymore. Her face was calm like a soldier going to war. "Do it," she said. "Press enter, delete everything." Harrison looked at the screen. Red letters flashed. Warning, DELETING core program will erase all digital souls. This action cannot be undone. "I cannot do it," Harrison said. "You are a person, you have feelings, you saved my life, you are not just a file." Zara grabbed his face with her small hands and made him look at her eyes. "Listen to me very carefully. The real me is in that glass tube. Her name is also Zara. She is 11 years old. She has never seen the sun. She has never eaten ice cream. She has never played with a toy. If you do not delete this program, Dr. Voss will use my digital copy to control the train forever. More people will die. More souls will be collected. You have to stop it." Harrison looked at the glass tube. The sleeping girl inside looked peaceful. Her chest was moving up and down slowly. She was alive. The real Zara was alive. Then he looked at the digital Zara standing in front of him. She had the same face, same voice, same heart. But she was made of code and light and something that looked like magic but was actually science, dark science. Dr. Voss's voice came through the speaker again. Subject 7 is correct, Mr. Harrison. She is just a copy, a shadow, a ghost. Delete her, save yourself. I will even let you leave the train alive. You have my word. Harrison laughed. Your word means nothing. You made children suffer. You killed 19 innocent kids. You are a monster. Dr. Voss sighed like a disappointed teacher. Then we have nothing to talk about. Soul collector, take them. The door burst open. The soul collector stepped inside. His white eyes burned brighter than ever. His black uniform seemed to drink the light from the room. He raised his long white hand and pointed at Harrison. You have refused the offer, now you pay the price. Harrison felt his chest get cold again. He looked at his hands. They were turning pale, white, see-through. He could see the floor through his own fingers. What is happening? He asked. Zara grabbed his arm. He is erasing you, not killing you. Erasing. You will never have existed. No one will remember you, your companies, your money, your name. Gone. Harrison looked at the keyboard. Then he looked at the soul collector. Then he looked at Zara. His mind was racing faster than it ever had in 60 years of business and deals and power. Zara, he said. Can you freeze him again? Zara shook her head. The frequency jammer only works once. It needs an hour to recharge. Harrison looked at the glass tube. An idea came to his mind, a dangerous idea, a crazy idea. Can you go inside the real Zara's body? He asked. Zara's eyes went wide. What? You are a digital soul. The real Zara's body is empty. Her mind is asleep. Can you go inside her and wake her up? Zara thought for a second. Her digital eyes flickered like a computer processing a hard question. Maybe, but I would lose my powers. I would forget the train. I would become a normal girl. Harrison smiled. That is the point. You deserve a normal life, not this, not running, not fighting, just being a kid. The soul collector took another step forward. Harrison's legs were almost invisible now. He could feel himself disappearing. Go, Harrison shouted. Go now. Zara ran to the glass tube. She placed both hands on the cold surface. Her body started glowing. Bright blue light filled the room. The soul collector screamed and covered his eyes. Zara's digital body began to fade. Piece by piece, like sand blowing away in the wind, her feet disappeared, then her legs, then her stomach, her chest, her shoulders, her face. She looked at Harrison one last time, her lips moved. She said 3 words, "Thank you, goodbye." Then she was gone. The blue light stopped. The glass tube opened with a hiss. Inside, the real Zara's eyes flickered, then opened. She sat up slowly, confused, scared, alive. Harrison was on his knees now. His body was almost completely invisible. The soul collector stood over him with his white eyes burning. You made a foolish choice, billionaire. You saved a girl you do not know, and you lost yourself. Harrison looked at the real Zara. She was climbing out of the tube. She was looking at her own hands, touching her own face. For the first time in 2 years, she was awake. Harrison smiled. I did not lose myself, he said. I found something better. Then everything went black, and Harrison was gone. The real Zara opened her eyes in a dark room filled with smoke and silence. Her head was heavy. Her body felt weak. 2 years of sleeping inside a glass tube had made her muscles soft and her mind foggy, but she was awake. She was alive. She looked around and saw the computers, the wires, the glass tube behind her. Then she saw a man on the floor, an old man in an expensive suit. His body was almost invisible, see-through, like a ghost made of fog. Sir, she said. Her voice was small and dry. Sir, can you hear me? Harrison opened his eyes. His face was pale, his lips were blue, but he was still there, still fighting. Zara, he whispered, you are real, you are finally real. The soul collector stood in the corner of the room. His white eyes watched them both, but he did not move. He did not attack. Something had changed. The blue light from Zara's transfer had damaged something in the room. Sparks flew from the computers. Screens flickered on and off. The soul collector's body twitched like a broken machine. System failure, the soul collector said. His voice was glitchy and strange. Digital soul transferred, core program corrupted. Then his white eyes went dark. His body fell to the floor with a loud thud. He did not move again. The soul collector was gone. Zara crawled to Harrison and held his hand. His fingers were cold, almost invisible. Do not die, she said. Tears fell from her eyes onto his pale skin. I just woke up. I do not want to be alone. Harrison looked at this little girl. 11 years old, born in a lab, never saw the sun, never had a family, and yet she was crying for him, a stranger, a man who ignored her warnings, a man who stepped onto the train like a fool. "You are not alone," Harrison said. His voice was very weak. "You will never be alone again, I promise." Then an alarm sounded, a different alarm, not red, not angry, green. The emergency doors opened. Men in uniforms ran inside. Soldiers, real soldiers, police, real police. Behind them came news cameras, bright lights, reporters shouting questions. Harrison had made one final call before boarding the train, a secret satellite call to his security team. The call they received was broken and strange, but it had one clear message. "Find me. Save the girl. Tell the world." The soldiers found Harrison on the floor. They found Zara holding his hand. They found the glass tubes and the computers and the photos of 20 children on the wall. The reporters saw everything. Cameras recorded everything. Within 1 hour, the whole world knew the truth. Dr. Voss was arrested in his office. He did not fight. He did not run. He just smiled and said nothing. The lab was closed. The children's bodies were given proper burials. 19 small coffins. 19 names that the world had never known. And Zara became a hero. News anchors called her the girl who saw death. Scientists wanted to study her. Politicians wanted to take photos with her, but Harrison said no. He took Zara to his own home, a big house with a garden and sunlight and a swing in the backyard. For the first time in her life, Zara felt the sun on her face. For the first time, she ate ice cream, chocolate, her favorite. For the first time, she slept in a warm bed without alarms or needles or white walls. Harrison adopted her legally. He signed the papers with his own hand. His body was still weak. His color was still pale, but he was alive. The doctors did not understand how. They said he should have died. They said his heart stopped twice. But here he was, sitting in a wheelchair, watching Zara run in the grass. 1 year passed. Then 2 years. Harrison's health came back slowly. Zara grew taller and stronger. She went to school. She made friends. She laughed. Every night before bed, she looked at Harrison's forehead. She still had her power. The scientists could not remove it, but the numbers on his forehead had changed. The number was no longer 24 hours. It was not 24 days or 24 months. It was 50 years, 50 more years. Zara smiled every time she saw it. One evening they sat on the porch together. The sun was setting. The sky was orange and pink. Zara leaned her head on Harrison's shoulder. "Do you remember what I shouted at the station?" she asked. Harrison laughed. "How can I forget? 'Don't get on that train.' You screamed it 10 times. Zara smiled. "You did not listen." "I know," Harrison said. "That was the dumbest thing I ever did." Zara looked up at the sky. "But you listened in the end. You saved me. You chose me over your own life." Harrison put his arm around her. "That was the smartest thing I ever did." They sat in silence as the stars came out one by one, and somewhere far away the broken train sat in an abandoned tunnel, empty. Silent, dead. No more whispers, no more warnings, no more soul collector. The train never moved again. But the story of the little girl who screamed at a stranger, that story moved millions. The truth shocked everyone. A billionaire and a street kid. A train and a warning, a choice that changed everything. And in the end, the girl was right. You should always listen to the child, because sometimes they can see what adults cannot. Sometimes they save us from ourselves. The end.